All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm Corey, and we're going to talk about how to jazz up your blues soloing a little bit here. And this is a topic I get asked about all the time. You know, I don't want to be too clickbaity and say we're going to play a bunch of outside tones, man. We're going to play a bunch of altered scales, because that to me doesn't always sound great, you know. But being able to add a little bit of a sophisticated flair or a sophisticated line to your normal down the middle blues playing is really fun. But the problem is nobody ever really showed me how to get started doing it. And there's so many ways you can do it that you just got to pick the one that works for you. So I thought today we'd work on kind of a fun one. And it really hinges on substitution and chord substitution. So like many of you, you probably had the Mickey Baker jazz book, right? I was leafing through that the other day. And I always like to brush up on my books and stuff and check them out. And he's big on the chord substitution thing. So when you take a G7 chord, for instance, you can play a D minor 7 over that for some nice substitutionary type stuff. I don't even know if that's a good phrase. In any case, why does that work? Well, you might hear a keyboard player kind of playing over a G7 chord, and it's just boring to play that and play that. But you might hear them go. Stevie Wonder, that kind of thing, right? So the reason that works is because a lot of the notes are shared between the two chords. In a D minor 7, you have a D, you have an A, you have a C, and an F. And those notes link up with G7 in a really cool way. The D is the 5th, the A can be the 9, the C can be the sus4, and then the F can be the flat 7. You hear a lot of old jazz songs, some Santana even, right? And one of the things you can do, I said to myself, well, if that works with chords, does it work with arpeggios? So could I take a D minor 7 arpeggio and play it over a G7 chord? And the answer is yes, but you want to be judicious about where you put that. Now, if you're a beginner or intermediate player, just hang with us and watch. It's going to be fun, but this is for the folks that are already able to play some stuff with some major and minor pentatonics, and they're looking to kind of branch out. You should check out my arpeggio videos to get some of these other shapes under your fingers. But this little line and arpeggio that I play, I'll tab out, and it'll be available as well as the track once we get into it. But what happens is you play this kind of a line, and then you have to know where to land, and I'm going to choose to land on the 3rd of a C7 in the blues. So for instance, it might be something like this. And did you hear how that flurry of notes happened? Faster than And another thing about this sort of outside notes and outside rhythmic phrasing is they go together like a hand in a glove, because you wouldn't go. That would sound really weird to the listener, like 3, see if I can do it, 3, 4. Doesn't sound like blues. But this, it swings, it's got more of a bebop saxophone type of idea to it. So to reiterate though, what we're doing is putting a D minor 7 arpeggio over top of a G7 chord. But we're doing it as the chords in the blues change from the 1 to the 4 chord. I know it sounds like a lot of stuff, but somebody is going to really, really dig this. And I'm going to make it so that it really works for you and you can hear it while I'm jamming over a couple choruses of the blues. So let's do that. Watch me play. I'll come back. I'll teach with the track even more. All right, let's do it. All right, so that was fun. If it looks like I was having fun, it's because I was. And if it doesn't, trust me, I definitely was, because this is fun. This is something that you can start to work in if you know this minor 7 arpeggio. So let's first take a look at the D minor 7 arpeggio, starting on the 5th fret, 5th string, playing a D note there. Then your next note is F on the 8th fret, 5th string. 7th fret, 4th string, A. C occurs on the 5th fret, 3rd string. Then we're going to do D again. That was 1 octave. 3rd string, 7th fret. Then the stair step. 6th fret, 2nd string. A on the 1st string, 5th fret. And then we have a C on the 8th fret, 1st string. Now, I'm not going to call it chord tones because it could be different depending on what chord you're correlating them to. But let's just talk about it. If we're playing it against the G7 chord, you're playing the 5th, you're playing the flat 7, you're playing the 9, you're playing a sus4, maybe an 11, and then you're playing the same notes again. And again, all those notes, except for the A, are in a G minor pentatonic scale. A D's there, an F's there, an A's not, but a C is. So that's one note outside of the realm. So when you're playing this over top of the track, and I'm going to slow the track down a little bit here. Oh, geez, speed, there we go. I'll slow it down a smidge, and we'll play over it, and I'll kind of call it out a little bit. And you'll hear the flurry go, and that's the thing, the flurry approaching the 4 chord is really where this stuff comes to life, okay? So let's make sure we have an idea of that, right? A 1, 2, 3, 4. All blues, minor pentatonic. I approach that C7, the 3rd of that note, back to minor pentatonic. Here comes the 5 chord to the 4. Now this turnaround just stays on the 1. Back to the top. Okay, something like that. To the 5 chord. Try it here. I do that in playing example. One more time. So hopefully every time I go, you're hearing that, right? Now, this is leaps and bounds and hurdles for a lot of people watching this, but it's something fun to do that I wanted to put out there because a lot of folks will say, hey, I just want to do something that sounds really interesting. I mean, do I have to play this whole thing all the time? No. What you could do is something more along the lines of playing just the top half. Pieces. Lots of times I'll just break something down. There it is, right? you're hearing is me wearing it out, right? You're like, okay, enough, stop playing it, right? So much so that I'm like, oh, geez, where do I go from here? But you could hear in the playing examples I did, it was fresh, it sounded really fun because I stuck down the middle and played straight blues, a couple strings, then boom, this flurry of notes via the arpeggio comes, okay? So what you'll get is, I'll tab that out for you. And then what I want you to do is just go, take pieces of it. Great stuff right there where it's just the top arpeggio, come down, minor pentatonic. Right? There's no rules. We're having fun. We're trying things out. Sometimes we're hitting it, sometimes we're not. And that's what's going to happen in your practice. If I'm willing to be vulnerable and put that on camera for the world to see, you surely can try it in your practice room, studio, bedroom, garage, basement, wherever you're playing. All right? So I hope that was helpful and it really opened your ears and your eyes, because that's what we're doing here. We're trying to unlock things. We're trying to make this thing not so terrifying to feel like we can actually advance on, right? That's what we do. That's what I want to help you do. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're digging the channel, if you're digging the content, and you haven't subscribed, I'm going to throw that out there just like me and every other YouTuber on the planet will ask you to do. It really does help us continue to do this stuff on a weekly, monthly, whatever basis. But if you're not inclined to subscribe, sorry to hear that. You can always hit the like button. That helps us too. Regardless, I'm giving you a free tab, free backing track, so I would love it if you return the favor. If not, wait till the next lesson, and I'm sure I'll wow you with something. No, I'm just kidding. But you never know. In any case, I'm Corey. Thanks for hanging out on the channel. Check out all the other lessons and drop me a line in the comments or on my website, CoreyCongilio.com. Find me on all the social networks, all that stuff. All right, I'll see you out there. Keep practicing.